This is Tuesday, April the 20th. This is World History. Now, last week we learned about the start of the Great Depression and the upheavals in Ireland and China. Today we're going to look at some European countries. Italy had suffered badly from being on the winning side of World War I. Italy had hoped that the Treaty of Versailles would give them land currently that was owned by the Austro-Hungarians. Instead, the land was given to independents, and Italy lost out. Now, during the 1920s, this man, Benito Mussolini, is going to come to power. Now, Mussolini was a nationalist. He believed that Italy should be the greatest country in Europe. Now, to do this, he had to pick an opponent, and he was opposed to the Pope, and he was opposed to the communists. Now, in Mussolini's campaign against the Catholic Church, he will say that the Pope had too much land and too much power and too much prestige amongst the Italians. He made a deal with the Pope. He would create a separate country, which is called Vatican City, and the Pope could administer that. All the other church lands in Rome would be given over to the Italian government. Those Italians who supported Mussolini were called the Fascist Party. Now, Mussolini called for democracy, but Mussolini also said that the Fascist Party should be the only political party, which, if you think about it, how can you have a democracy with only one party? Mussolini is going to preach unity. Now, to bring the country together, Mussolini is going to call for a bigger military. Mussolini is going to call upon the workers of Italy to go to work making weapons for the military. Now, if you're going to have a military, then the military has to have an objective. And the objective for the Italians is Ethiopia. By controlling Ethiopia, the Italians would control one of the accesses to the Suez Canal. In 1936, Italian forces are going to defeat Ethiopian forces. They're going to control the Ethiopian capital of Addis Ababa. Now, this again will give the Italians a base to seize ships in the southern part of the Suez Canal. This is a picture of Haile Selassie. Haile Selassie is going to go to the League of Nations. He's going to say that the Italians used poison gas against his Ethiopian troops. He's going to call for the League of Nations to condemn the Italians. The League did condemn the Italians, but offered no military support to remove the Italians from Ethiopia. Germany. The Treaty of Versailles had created economic ruin for Germany. The Kaiser is going to go into exile in what is now Holland, and a new government called the Weimar Republic is going to form. Now, the new German Constitution laid all of the power in the hands of the legislature. The Chancellor, that would be the official leader of Germany, would be elected by the legislature. But many Germans felt the Weimar Republic was too soft. Some Germans felt the Weimar Republic was too dictatorial. In the 1920s, the communists are going to attempt to take over of Germany. This is going to fail. In the same year, the Nazi Party, or the Nationalist Party as they were called, will also try to take over Germany. Again, both of these are going to be put down. Now, the Nationalist Party is headed by Adolf Hitler. Hitler had been a soldier in World War I. He had tried to overthrow the Republic. He will be captured and he will be sent to jail. Now, while in jail, Hitler will formulate his ideas as to why Germany lost World War I, what Germany must do to become a great power again, and if you take those steps, this is what's going to happen. By the early 1930s, Hitler and his Nationalist Socialist Party, what we call the Nazis, will begin to take control of the Weimar Republic through the ballot box. The Nazis began to win seats. They portrayed Hitler as a strong ruler. Hitler will stress all things German. He will call for national unity. He will call to expel the communists. He will call for industry to make the military even stronger. In 1933, Hitler will be elected Chancellor of the Weimar Republic. Hitler is going to call for changes to the Constitution that will make his job of Chancellor even more powerful. The night before the legislature was to take the vote as to whether to change the Constitution or not, a great fire is going to burn down the building where the legislature was to meet. Hitler said he had proof that the building had been burned down by radicals, communist radicals. Well, the legislature will meet in a new building. They will give Hitler unbelievable power to hunt out those who had burned down the building. Most people today believe that the building was burned down by the Nazis themselves so they could have someone to blame. Hitler announced in a series of speeches heard over the radio that he was the Fuhrer. Now, the Fuhrer would be a person who has even more power than the Chancellor. He would achieve a series of victories that would last for 1,000 years. Hitler called for economic success. Factories were opened up. Men were working, and the fields were again producing. Most Germans were extremely happy. Hitler and the Nazi Party is going to begin to rid itself of the undesirables. Now, in the book that Hitler wrote in the 1920s, he called the undesirables the Jews and those who had worked to defeat Germany. But before Hitler could begin to clean up Germany, he had to clean up his own house. Now, there were those in the Nazi Party who were loyal to the party, but not loyal to Hitler. And Hitler believed that these men must be rounded up and killed. In German history, this is called the Night of the Long Knives. Now, Hitler had suspected men like this, Ernst Röhm, were becoming powerful and would someday take away power from Hitler himself. Hitler created a secret army, and this secret army is going to round up people like Röhm. They're going to kill them in an attempt to purify the Nazi Party. Here is a video about that night. Hitler had written in the 1920s that Germany had lost World War I because Jewish investors had not backed the war effort. Now, the legislature began to persecute and punish Jews in Germany. Many Jews are going to try to leave Germany and get to America, but most of them find that their passage is blocked, either by the Germans or blocked by the Americans. Those who remained are forced to live in special sections of German cities. We use the Yiddish word sometimes. These are called ghettos. The Jews are forced to wear clothing that has the Star of David on it. Their businesses have to have the Star of David in the window so people know who are Jews and who are not. In many European countries and the United States, they also shared a disdain for the Jews. This is what we call anti-Semitic views. Jews, in most cases, were prevented from leaving Germany, first by the Germans, and then by the European nations and the United States. In 1938, after a fiery speech on the radio, many Germans are going to leave their homes. They're going to go into Jewish sections of Germany, and they're going to go on a rampage. Jewish businesses were broken into. Jewish synagogues were burned or desecrated. Jews themselves were rounded up and sent to jail. This became known in the German language as the Kristallnacht, what we call in English the Night of the Broken Glass. Here is a video of one person who survived the Night of the Broken Glass and what she thought. Well, I think this would probably be a pretty good time for us to stop. We will look at Japan on Wednesday. We will not have a quiz this week. We will most likely have a quiz sometime late next week.